Maybe we just start by listening to this sound, and if there are old folks in the audience, I don't know, like I may be the oldest one, you guys are quite young, but anyways, so this sound is actually from a movie with the same name, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It's a 1970s movie, I think, one of the most popular movies at that time. And I actually picked the three words from that movie, and this sound is the sound of that movie. So whenever the three people they just keep walking, this background sound always comes there. So uh, good morning, everyone. My name is Vipin Jain. I think few things already said about me. So I work from India in a beautiful city called as Jaipur. Again, not sure how many of you know about that, but Jaipur is also called as Pink City of India, where many houses are colored pink. It's a very hot part of the country. So right now the temperatures are 43 degrees Celsius. And these different colors to the houses, they actually help us protect from the sun. So that's why it is termed as Pink City of India, beautiful city into the west part of the country. So I am working with these technologies for many, many years now. Of course, we all do a lot of deliveries to the customers, but new technologies also keep coming in, and we should be aware about that. So that's my motive. I fall in love with IoT in, I think, 2015, and then I presented about 5 or 6 papers in Europe just on IoT, end-to-end testing, how to plan an IoT strategy, and other stuff. But last 2 or 3 years, especially during this COVID times, when there is a huge amount of, I would say, data getting produced all across the world, because for everything there was an app on our mobile. We order food, we order medicines, we book everything from our house. And then suddenly one day I realized that because IoT is all made up of sensors, and every sensor is actually producing data. And we are not talking about like 500 sensors or 1,000 sensors. I am literally talking about billions of sensors across the world. So the amount of data that is getting produced by these sensors, you can just imagine. Maybe we can't even, right? So then I thought, like, what would be the security aspects and how we are going to ensure the data is correct, and how we can prevent hackers from, accessing our sensors and other stuff. And then I realized that technology cannot be only good. There are always bad aspects. There are even uglier aspects of the technology. And since this is one of the latest technologies, I created this paper. So IoT ecosystem, the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's my topic. And I begin straight from the ugly aspect. Good aspect, I think we all know, but I will be still talking about that. But let's begin from ugly aspect, because people always say, people challenge me that how a technology can be ugly. Any technology. Technology is made to serve us. So we created driverless cars. They are made to, give us comfort. Our connected homes, our smart watches, artificial intelligence, machine learnings, right? Every technology that is coming in this market, it is actually helping us. Then how it can be ugly? Let me show you certain things. Let me also run a video just after this slide, and then we talk after that.
My husband and I would randomly joke sometimes, like, I bet these devices are listening to what we're saying.
Until recently, Danielle's home was completely wired up in every room with the Amazon Echo. Her family used the Alexa app to do everything from turn up the heat to turn off the lights. But Danielle told us via Skype that 2 weeks ago, their love for Alexa changed with an alarming phone call.
The person on the other line said, "Unplug your Alexa devices right now."
That person was one of her husband's employees calling from Seattle.
We go around and unplug them all. He proceeded to tell us that he had received audio files recordings from what was going on in our house.
Danielle says her Amazon device in her Portland home recorded a private conversation and sent that recording to a random contact, which happened to be the employee in Seattle.
At first, my husband was like, "No, you didn't." And he's like, "You sat there talking about hardwood floors." And we're, "Oh gosh, you really did."
Danielle listened to the conversation and she couldn't believe someone 176 miles away heard it too.
I felt invaded, like total privacy invasion. Like immediately I'm like, I'm never plugging that device in again. I can't trust it.
So that's a real world video. This is not a animation. So someone heard you speaking in your house and that file got transferred to 300 kilometers away. Now, luckily for them, the file actually went to one of their employees, but this file can be sent to anyone. So just imagine you are not even safe in terms of data privacy within your house only. And our house is the most safest place for us. So that's the first ugliest aspect of technology, that the more connected we are, more devices are actually listening to us, watching us, what we are doing on a daily basis. And that for me is a big, big worrying thing. Let's observe these. These are news clippings. So Stephen Hawking, he said IoT could be a real danger. There were DDoS attacks to knock Liberia off the internet. Elon Musk said, "I'm afraid of the Terminator." And then there were bot problems. There was the Jeep hack, hackable cardiac devices. So many things that happened across this world. So we cannot just say that, okay, I have IoT, I have a connected house and everything is perfectly fine. No, actually they are not. There might be a scenario where you are freezing in your house, but the thermostat stops working because it is under some DDoS attack. DDoS means distributed denial of service. So someone just attacks or hacks your thermostat, and then the thermostat stops functioning. So this is an animation, this is a cartoon, but you actually one day can possibly believe that this thing can happen. So if you have more devices and every device is connected, which means every device is present on internet, then a hacker can gain access to those devices. Remember that. Imagine the situations. What would happen if the medical alarm in an elderly patient, it fails to operate? The recall process of a faulty device fails and it is still inside our body. The IoT sensors that monitors the temperatures, that fail. Hackers hack any electric grid and they shut down the entire city, cause accidents as traffic lights would stop working, and all the critical patients in danger because there is no electricity. They gain hold of heart patients' pacemakers and then cause it to produce electric shocks. So it can literally kill someone. The internet-enabled devices are hacked and they start sending your audios and recorded to some server, and then they start blackmailing you. These are real-life scenarios. These are the places where IoT devices are present, where we use IoT devices, real-time sensors, to perform all of these kind of things. And because they are connected on internet, they are not in a lock. Remember that they are present somewhere in open. Anyone can gain access to it if we do not have proper security mechanisms around it. And that's the biggest danger. That's the ugliest part of having this kind of technology. Now, just to give you an idea where all IoT devices are present: in smart homes, the wearables, the smartwatch that you wear every day, smart cities, smart grids, industrial internet, smart farming, supply chain, retail, health, connected cars, Tesla, and many other cars. Tesla is almost completely connected, but there are many other cars which actually are connected to your internet systems. So remember how you can go away from these things. We live in big cities, right? Either your city is already a smart city or it is in the process of becoming a smart city. If it is city smart, that means every functioning in the city, whether it's traffic system, whether it's the road car mechanisms, the parking systems, everything is completely controlled by systems, the processes, internet, which means there is no manual intervention there, which also means if the system fails, everything will stop. Because if there are manual systems, we always have a second way of doing things. But here there is no manual system. How will the things work? This is a video from Fast and Furious.
It's zombie time. I'd buckle up if I were you.
What has happened? This is exactly what I was saying, although it's part of a movie, but it is not away from a reality. Someone can hack your cars and the cars will now running on that person's instructions, not yours. Imagine what can happen in a busy street. You don't need, I would say, guns and tanks, and you don't need to have a war where you have to kill people by firing arms. You can, I would say, you can become a lot smarter now using technology to gain these, to have these wars. Why to kill people by firing bullets? Just ensure that the electricity is not working in that city. The city will automatically get destroyed. And that's the biggest threat of these technologies. So as a tester, as developers, as business owners, as architects, the technology people, right? What we are, we have to ensure that whatever we are doing, either developing this code or testing this code, we ensure that the things are completely secured. We have to find ways to make it more secure than ever. We cannot just say, let's say I'm running in a Tesla car and there is a stop where the car has to stop, but the car doesn't stop and it bangs into a truck in front and the driver dies. As a tester, what I can say, oh, sorry, one of my test cases got failed and there is a bug. Is it that simple? I can do this in an e-commerce website. What is the biggest problem happens in an e-commerce website if a test case fails? Someone can use my credit card and without telling me, he, let's say, buys stuff $100,000, or your stuff gets shipped to my house. These are the, so financial problems can occur if a test case fails in an e-commerce website. But if a test case fails in this IoT connected world, someone can die. The pacemaker inside my heart can stop functioning because of this problem. Or it can produce a 800-volt current inside my body and the patient can die. A Tesla car stops taking a proper turn and it collides with a truck or some other car, someone can die. You are running with a smartwatch in your hand and you are seeing that, okay, my smartwatch is showing that my heartbeat is 92, which is fine. But in reality, the heartbeat has gone like 120. You can collapse in the jogging park because we are over relying on these devices. We are in a, I would say, just to have a peer pressure that everyone has a smartwatch, so I should also have a smartwatch. Smartwatch is a very simple thing, but everyone has a connected car. I should have a connected car. They have a connected home. I should have a connected home. Things like that. And then you have a connected home. So you rely on everything. As soon as I enter a house, my lights will automatically get on. As soon as I get out, the door is automatically locked. And so many things. Just think, do you really need these kind of things? And if yes, are they secured? That's the challenge we have. So, are you serious? Literally, are you serious? That's a technology that we the developers and testers made and tested for our use. And then this guy from India, Vipin Jain, is telling that this technology is ugly. There are so many problems with this technology. Problem is not with the technology. The problem is with the implementation, with the speed at which the market is flooded with this technology. People are not aware about these. People are not trained to use these kind of things. And suddenly one day we see that our city is smart city. What it takes to become a city smart city is every person living in the city knows about that. Do we have enough education given to our citizens? This is not happening. The companies are just flooding the market with new technologies every day because they want to make money. We are working with those kind of companies and we want to make money as well, which is fine because I'm doing my job. But we have to be ethically correct. We have to think about the society when we push these kind of products inside the market. And this is not happening everywhere. And that's why this technology is becoming ugly. This is my first part of this talk. So if this is ugly, then what's the bad about it? Is there anything bad left? Because ugly is all that I have already told you, right? What is bad? There are some numbers which I wanted to show. So even if the technology is in the market, but worldwide, 52% of consumers now rely on what you say that some IoT device. So across the world, there are 52% people who use IoT in some form, maybe a smartwatch, a connected car, or even the connected house. But 64% of them, they experience performance issues. And 62% are still under, they worry that the problems with IoT technology will only increase. And there is on an average 1.5 digital problems happen every day. Now, what is meant by performance issues with an IoT device? 64% says that there can be a performance issue. Why we need a problem with a performance issue? IoT devices generally are applied in industries which work on real-time data. Like, for example, a patient's heart monitoring system or a patient's digital diabetes control. I need the patient's data real-time. So if a patient's heartbeat is increasing from 90 to 120 or his blood pressure is increasing, the doctors need the data immediately so that alarms can be raised. Now, if there is a performance issue, which means my heartbeat is, let's say 150, I am in a critical condition, but the data actually reaches to the doctor 10 minutes late. The doctor cannot save me. That kind of performance issues I'm telling. Similarly, the sensors in a Tesla car, the sensor should say that 10 meters ahead, the traffic stopped. So the Tesla car should stop immediately. But let's say the sensor responds 5 minutes later. What would happen? The car just slammed into the truck in front of it. So although the sensor worked and it produced correct data, it was not on time. It was not real time. So this kind of problem is the bad aspects. People are using IoT devices, but we don't rely on them. So that's why even if I have a fully connected car, I still prefer to have a partial connected car, which also has some control manually. So at least I can apply manual brakes, which means I'm using the technology, but I'm not relying on the technology. I'm paying for that technology, but I still want to have my old manual ways with me. What is the use of creating a technology when you can't rely on that? That's the bad aspect. Medicine. I just said IoT is used worldwide in a lot of medicine things. So these are the, I would say, the bigger countries, the advanced countries in the world, UK, USA, France, Germany, Australia, right? Singapore. And the first column gives the percentage of consumers who would not trust IoT devices to administer medication into your body directly. So there are small chips which you can put on your body and under your clothes. And then if there is, let's say, a diabetes problem, the chip can insert insulin into your body. Great. It's really a great thing. A diabetes patient can go anywhere. But people don't rely that it can work 100% correct. Imagine people in UK, 74% don't rely. 71% in USA don't rely. Singapore, 62% people don't rely. And then the percentage of consumers that would trust is still not high. Similarly, people who are under the age of 18 to 34, right, the younger people, they say that, okay, I would still trust technology because they are seeing a new form of technology. But the older people 55 and age higher, because they have not seen the technology in front of them, they only have seen the technology coming slowly. But these are the people who require this medication the most, but they don't trust it. So what is happening? The feeling of distrust is still very high. Similarly, self-driving cars. Everyone wants a self-driving car. And I am not sure about Turkey. I have never traveled to Turkey, but I'm sure that self-driving cars is not a success thing in India. Because here we drive in all directions. So self-driving car sensors, I don't think it will work, but the places where it will work, there are a lot of problems. So this big kind of the percentages, like 89% people in Australia don't want to buy a self-driving car. Same goes with Singapore. 83% don't want to buy a self-driving. 83% in France, 84% in Germany. And then across the world, 84% people, they don't want a self-driving car or maybe a partial self-driving car. So although world over, every company is now making cars which are connected and self-driving, but 84% of consumers don't want to buy those kind of cars. Why? Because they don't trust whether the car will be 100% correct or not. And have you just thought that why this sense of distrust is there in terms of medicine, in terms of self-driving car? Because there is a fear of your life can go. If medication not given time, the patient may die. If connected car doesn't work fine, the patient can die. So people love technology until it is not a life-endangering threat. But as soon as the life comes in picture, people say, no, technology, no, I can't rely on this technology. I will only trust my old ways. So although the technology is saying that it is for us, but when it comes in terms of life of myself and my family and my friends, I don't want to take a risk. And that's why the sense of distrust is still there. And then smart homes. IoT malfunction won't allow homeowners to control thermostats. 68% believe this. There are lots of countries in the world which are either very cold or very hot. Imagine your air conditioners won't work or your thermostat doesn't work. Heat doesn't goes to your houses. When it is freezing outside, what would happen? Again, 68% people believe that this thing may don't work because there is again a danger of their life. Similarly, homeowners cannot control light in their system. 64% believe that. Homeowners can lose control of their houses. You cannot gain inside. You cannot go inside your house because the door won't open. 83% believe that. And you may be overcharged if the electric meters are smart meters. 81% believe that. People will believe that the government bills that they send to us, the electricity usage, this may come wrong because smart meters may work correctly or may not. So here the problem is with the money aspects. You can overcharge me or the life aspects. So again, there is a huge sense of distrust, even if my city becomes a smart city. What are the root causes of these things? So there are some reasons why people don't trust these devices 100%. The first root cause that comes to my mind is there is a staggering volume of devices coming to market. And I already said, just because everyone wants to gain profits, every company is making devices and just pushing into the market. And second, We are buying those things not because we need them. We are buying because there is a peer pressure and then there is a market competition. So we as a consumer, we have to think whether do you really need it? If you need it, please go ahead. If you don't, just don't buy it. And what happened as a result of these two things? The consumer wants to invest big, but we are also skeptical about the software reliability. So I am buying it, but I am not 100% sure if I am using it fully. Then there are fixing issues in hardware, software, firmware. Now, IoT is a very unique technology. It is not just a hardware. It is not just a software. It is a combination of hardware plus software plus firmware plus protocols, right? Plus a lot of handshaking algorithms, plus the internet bandwidths. All these things combined make a IoT ecosystem. Which means problem cannot be just a software problem or a hardware problem or a firmware problem. Anything can go wrong. And the cost is too high to basically resolve them. And then if one device is not working fine and you go in the market to buy another device, you may find a scenario where you can't find the old device and you have to find a new device from some new company. But when you put the new device into your ecosystem, it won't work because there are compatibility issues. The devices do not communicate with each other. So now your entire ecosystem is not working fine because the circuit is not complete, and that's a problem. Just see this example. We have a leakage in the house. This is a leakage. And we also have another kind of leakage. This is also a leakage. Do you think the time and cost to fix these kind of leakages same? It's not. The first leakage is probably a 5-minute work, but the second leakage is probably a lot in terms of time and money. This is the exact same thing I want to tell you. The first leakage is basically your smartphones, but the second leakage is the IoT devices. So there is a cost trap. Smartphones, any problem it happen, you can just switch on, switch off. Generally, the problem goes away. If not, you can recharge your mobile. If not, there are unlimited software updates available. So in most of the cases, your mobile problems will be resolved in 10 minutes. But if there is an IoT problem, the on-site repair is costly. The IoT sensor can be on the top of Al Burj in Dubai, or it can be deep inside the Sahara Desert, or it can be deep inside the Pacific Ocean. If you want to correct it, imagine the cost that is required. And it is not just one sensor. It is a huge connection of sensors that you need to correct in terms of protocols, in terms of compatibility, in terms of technical things. So the cost is huge. So what happens is when something bad happens, people just leave those devices there itself and go to a new network. And these devices, because they are still connected to internet and no one is taking care of them, the hackers gain access to these devices, and using these devices as backdoors, they gain entry into the systems, and then they can do whatever they want. So I developed a machine for this. Let's say the refrigerator is saying me, don't forget to buy milk. My life becomes so simple. But the same machine, similar machines can also do these kind of things. Your weighing machine saying that give me $50 or I will just tweet your weight out. It's a humor thing, but the machines can do this because the hackers can make these machines talk to you. And that's the problems I'm trying to highlight. So is there anything good? Because I have told you a lot of ugly things, bad things, money loss, technical problems, security problems, data problems. So what is good then? Why we have this technology with us? Total number of devices are getting increased. The white boxes are the mobiles. So in 2015, there were 10.1 billion mobiles across the world, more than our population. Every house has more mobiles than the people. And by 2025, the mobiles will just increase by 2 billion. So from 10.1, it is like 12.7. Look at the red bars. 3.8 billion IoT devices is 2015 is expected to grow 7 times 21.5 billion IoT devices by 2025. What does that mean? This means that the consumers are using these devices more and more and more. So as a company, as a job guys, as technical people, we need to put more technology, which means my company can earn more. What is the money aspects? $170 billion in 2017 is the estimated business, the entire world, expected to grow to $560 billion in 2022, and it has now increased more. If you are into IoT business, how can you miss on this $560 billion? At least $1 billion should be your company's money, which means you have to work on making more IoT devices, pushing everything in the market, give them better softwares, better hardwares, protocols, everything. So there is a huge opportunity in terms of market. Then IoT in our lives. The healthcare has become very sophisticated because of the IoT devices. Agriculture. Countries like India, which like about 20 years ago, always go to United Nations to buy wheat. Now India, using all these devices and putting technology, we are now exporting wheat to many parts of the country, many of the world. India is not importing any food items, at least from any country. And our population is 1.4 billion. People are no more hungry. People like me, who have seen like first 20 years of their life without any internet inside their country, and India was supposed to be a poor country. And now India is the fastest running economy in the world. We have embraced technology, and especially in the agriculture part, because India is primarily an agriculture country. 70% of our population still lives in villages. And now they produce that kind of food and vegetables and grains that entire country is self-sufficient. And not just self-sufficient, we are now sending food to the most of the world. That's the power of devices. Smart homes, Amazon Go, if you have seen that. Smart wearables, every one of us is wearing a smartwatch. That's one of the smart wearables, most popular smart wearables that we use. And then driverless cars. I have talked a lot about Tesla car. 2 weeks ago, I was in US and I saw the most advanced Tesla car with one of my friend's house. And I was like, come on, man, I want this car one day. But I know that it's not possible in India, but that's literally a technical marvel. So we have those 7 wonders of the world. I think Tesla car is one of the wonders in IT world, if there is any wonders. So when these kind of technologies are there, our companies have to work. So in terms of learning, in terms of earning money, IoT is one of the big thing. This is one of the projects that I am working. I cannot go into detail because of the time problems, but still it's the diabetic thing that I talked about. So there is a healthcare system in cloud. There is a mobile on which your app, healthcare app is there. And a diabetic patient has 2 kind of things. One, insulin pump, and other is a glucose sensor. These are very small chips which can be put on your stomach, and you just wear clothes on it and you go anywhere in the world. Now the glucose sensor is constantly sensing the blood glucose level in your blood. And it is pushing this data to your mobile, and through your mobile, it is going in the cloud. If everything is normal, it's fine. But if some problem happens, there are 5 alarms that are raised. One alarm is raised to the nearest hospital. The second alarm is raised to, let's say, your father, your son, your wife, your husband, to your any nearest family member. The third alarm is raised to the doctor, who is your doctor. And the doctor can be sitting like miles away from you. He can be in a different city also. The fourth alarm is raised to some person nearby. And I think the fifth alarm raised to a nearby ambulance or something. And all these alarms are raised using your GPS. So your coordinates are tracked, and any mobile number who is nearest to your GPS trackers, right? The coordinates, that person also gets an alarm. So imagine a person can help you immediately. A doctor can help you immediately. An ambulance can come to you very fast. So by the time you collapse on the ground, two things will be happening. Doctor can press a button from his laptop or machine, which can ensure the insulin pump on your stomach, put some insulin into your blood, inject some insulin into the blood. So there are chances that you will survive. And then ambulances and hospitals will get alert. They reach to you very quickly and you will be taken to the hospital. So if not 100%, at least there are 80% chances that you will be taken care of and you will survive. If this system is not in place, there are, I think, 80% chances that the patient may die. And that is why people with diabetes, they take all those insulin pumps, injections, medicine to wherever they go in the world. And now they just have to put this small chip on their stomach and then they are free to go. And this is one example where I told earlier that performance is compulsory. If the real-time data comes after 5 minutes, this technology is of no use to me. So if you also imagine how IoT has becoming popular, because now the internet speeds across the world, we are talking about 5Gs. These technology, the IoT, the artificial intelligence, the machine learnings, the big datas, they were not that popular in 2008 or 2010, although they were there. And they were not popular because the people don't want to put these into the market due to the lack of poor internet infrastructure in the world. But now, in 2023, I am not talking about the developed nations, but you come to India, which is supposedly be a developing nation about 5 years ago. You go to the remote places and internet is working smooth there. I don't need to take my songs in a pen drive. Spotify works entire route I drive. That is the power of internet infrastructure, which means the data that is getting produced is pushed to the servers and cloud in real time. And hence this IoT infrastructure, your artificial intelligence algorithms, the machine learning algorithms, they all work in real time and giving the end users a seamless features. You watch Netflix, the movies, right? Do you ever imagine starting a movie that my movie will come smooth for 5 minutes, then it breaks, then it again come for 5 minutes? We don't. We just believe that internet is coming smoothly to my house. That's the overall, I would say, IT infrastructure across the world that is happening. So this is one good example where IoT saves our lives. And then real-time examples. In Barcelona, smart water technologies are put. Automated street lighting is there. Remote controlled water irrigation in green spaces is happening. On-demand waste pickups are there. Digital bus routes and smart parking systems. All are IoT enabled. In Chicago, they are putting a lot of fitness trackers, which are sensor based, because those sensors are collecting data about air quality, climate, and traffic. Analyze it and immediately send to your mobiles. And you can see, oh, it's that cold. Oh, the air purity is this. Shall I go out or not? Las Vegas, beautiful city. But the biggest problem is traffic. IoT is now used to ensure that the traffic flow smoothly. And the vehicles which are idle, they stop emitting carbon dioxide into the cars. In South Korea, they are building an entire IoTized city where there is no car is required. These are more examples. The AT&T enterprise building managements, reducing water consumptions, energy efficient frozen foods. These are real companies. Precision King, smart farming, the charging stations with charge points. All these are happening in real life. You must have seen some or few or all of them around you. So IoT is there. That is 100% correct. IoT is to my full benefit. There is a lot that will be coming in next 5 or 6 years in IoT. What is happening is the bad and the ugly aspects. And although this is not a testing talk that I did, but it has to be very clear in all of your minds that if you are part of any IoTized project, make sure you ask questions about the security aspects, about the performance aspects. Make sure you test about those things. Make sure you develop and unit test with these things. Just don't focus on functionality. IoT is not a e-commerce website where you have to ensure that from login to log out, everything works fine. Automate it and it runs perfectly good. Our role as a tester has gone beyond those login to log out happy user scenarios. You have to ensure that a lot of different kind of testings have to be in place, which will ultimately make this world a lot happier and better place to live in. And good thing with us is we are developers, we are testers, but in the end, we are the end users. So we are consuming this technology also. So if you make good for others, the same good will come back to you. If you just, in the sake of earning more money, putting a technology which is not properly made, somehow that bad technology will also come back to you. So I always say this thing as a karma. Good karmas always come to you. Bad karmas also come to you. So with this, remember the good prevails in the end. All the movies that we watch, the bad dies and the good remains. All the, I would say the mythological, the God, like the gods that you worship and the God I worship, there are thousands of stories around them that there was always a bad and there is always a good, and the good always wins. Same with the technology. Ultimately, people will realize that there is a good aspect, and we have to make sure the good aspect continues to grow and the bad and the ugly aspects, they just stop, or they just go at least minimize to the thing. That's me and my wife. We both are authors of this paper, hence all the credits to my wife as well. And you can connect with me on LinkedIn, Twitter, or email me to my email account. Thank you. And I'm open to any kind of questions.
Thank you so much, Vipin. It was a fascinating presentation from you. There are two questions, actually. Just let me jump on that. So we are just a few minutes left to the next keynote. So I will have just short...
I can read the questions. So shall I read and answer?
Yes, please. So there are two questions. Let me ask them lively to the audience, because some of them maybe they can't see the question.
Sure.
The first question is from Nassim Nepti. Shouldn't the fact that a lot of IoT devices have non-connected counterpart existing since years ago also a root cause?
Shouldn't the fact that a lot of IoT have non-connected exactly. This is one of the main reasons. Because when people were not very clear about how to make sure the non-connected counterparts also come on the network, and then a new technology comes in, they just ignored those devices and they jumped to the new technology. And this was more done because they have a race going on, like who will put their devices first in the market. And people just ignored them. And now many of them are just sitting idle for anyone to come and gain access to them. So there has to be a cleanup to be done. I don't know how that has to be done. Maybe all the companies who made them, they have to come in front. But on the other side, what also can be done is, since the cleanup is not possible, you can make the new devices very security proof, I would say. So at least if someone plans to leave these new devices also, let's say 5 years down the line, at least those are secure enough. So I completely agree that yes, that is one of the reasons, if not the only reason.
Yeah, thank you. The other question is from Nurettin Shanslı. He asks, has there been any cyber crime incidents involving IoT devices?
Yes, that is true. In 2016, there was a bot that was created called as Mirai bot. Right? What Mirai bot has done is, Mirai bot traveled all across the internet, and wherever there are devices which are left unattended or no one is using them, it gained access to them and it replicated them. So one bot created another bot. So it's like, you can say that if I relate to a real world scenario, a country got attacked from outside their country, and then there were a lot of spies present inside that country already. So there is a war happening inside the country, and then there is war happening outside the country. The country got attacked from both sides. And this was called as the first DDoS attack on the world. That is DDoS, Distributed Denial of Service. And if I can just share my screen again for just showing one thing, and you can very easily relate to it. Can you see my screen again?
Yes.
Mirai botnet attack 2016. Or in fact, let me just go to an image for that. Massive DDoS attacks on the DNSs. So internet stopped working. And where is the image gone? How a DDoS attack looks like. Okay, this one. That's a DDoS attack. And you see different parts of the world, they got affected. Internet was down for a very long time in various places. This is basically a list of all the companies whose devices, like you see cameras, receivers, speakers. If I can just, yes. So you see there are cameras, DVRs, speakers, routers, and so many other things. These got attacked. And there was a denial of service that happened across the world. US was definitely the biggest affected. And there was another very good image. Yes. This will give you a very, very clear picture what all countries in the world got affected when this happened. That's the place. Brazil, Venezuela, Russia, the biggest hits. And then, of course, there were lots and lots of other countries. Almost the entire Europe, most of the parts in US, many parts in India, less of Africa, less of China. But that was the first real world attack that happened across using those IoT devices. That's why I just wanted to share this screen.
Okay. Vipin, thank you for coming. Thank you for contributing and supporting us. It was really nice to meet you and listen to your thoughts and fascinating presentation. Thank you for being here. Have a nice day.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for talking to your community.